Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kevin Ayers, and these initial videos are based off of some experiences I've had recently, focusing mostly on unemployment. First off, I will let you know that I've received some questions since I posted the first video. I will address some of them with their proper topics in order to address them fully. As we have videos that cover those topics, I will fit those in. There have been questions about guest interviews. There have been requests to be a guest, and I do appreciate that. I will even reach out to my spouse to see if she'll get on here if possible. And there's been a volunteer to help edit the video, so hopefully the video quality will increase. We got some feedback about the lighting on the last video. It was kind of dark, so I've tried to fix that. Let me know. If you have any issues with the video, the audio, the sounds, you might hear my basset hound or my phone go off. For those, I apologize beforehand. There's a question about what I'm aiming for, what I'm trying to accomplish. Would this be something that I would put into a book form, support group possible, maybe an online forum? Those are all possibilities. But I would like to continue this project because I see value in it, not just for myself, but maybe for others who could help learn from the experience and know that they're not going through this situation alone or feel like they may be the only one doing it. So, this week's quote comes from Charles Bukowski. What matters most is how well you walk through the fire. Those are the last lines of one of his poems called How Is Your Heart? So I just finished an interview, still going through the interview process. This one was a face-to-face, and that is always an eye-opening situation because I have conducted thousands of interviews. I couldn't even start to count how many times I was on the other side. And it includes, interviews for promotion, interviews for new employment, interviewing vendors and such, business to business items. So being on the other side of the desk is different. Of course, the chair is smaller. You're usually not as elevated as the other person. And the other person, of course, controls the interview with their style. And sometimes they're much different from my style. Sometimes they align more closely with my style. Either way works. You just have to be prepared and be able to modify your responses to the interviewer's questions. I was also thinking about what it was like the first time versus the second time of unemployment and trying to figure out, okay, which one was worse, which one was better. Neither one is really good. You do learn some good things about it, but you have to be on purpose as far as trying to figure out what am I supposed to be learning from all of this. And also you have people who are around you, your spouse, your significant other, your friends that are no longer friends because they no longer, you don't have contact, don't reach out to you, or if they did, it's kind of slowly tracked off. And then you've got those friends who are the cream that rises to the top. They're the ones that are through thick and thin. You've built a solid line relationship with them, and they're here for the long haul. They actually, show that they care. They also do the work of maintaining friendships and genuinely concerned about the situation that they find their friends in. And so those are the people you need to surround yourself with, and they're highly valuable because they can be a sounding board. Sometimes you just need to talk. You can talk about some things with your wife. You can talk about some things with your friends. But you have to surround yourself with people. You cannot leave yourself isolated because you will sink if you do that. Oh, let's see. I remember the first time that I was unemployed. Neither one was a shock because the circumstances were a little bit different, but you kind of knew that it was coming. And that got me to thinking about ambiguous loss. There's a linear process, the Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, the linear stages of experiencing grief. It's got 5 categories, and those are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. The ambiguous loss is more of going back and forth in different stages. It's cyclical. It can be seasonal. Sometimes when you think you're through a stage and you're over that, you get to re-experience it. If there's something that happens that reminds you, or if it happens again, certain dates can trigger that kind of stuff. And so thinking about, you know, the ambiguous part of it, I think makes it a little bit more difficult than a linear grieving process, because you can look back and say, okay, I'm not in denial. The anger has subsided. I did some bargaining. I feel myself coming out of the depression stage, and I'm more going towards the acceptance. Whereas with unemployment, it's back and forth, rinse and repeat. Sometimes you feel strong enough, and for those times when you don't feel strong enough, you have to have that support system around you. You can do some research online and to see how to deal with certain emotions: anger, doubt, fear, uncertainty. You can also take the time that you're on unemployment to do certain activities to better yourself. Um, Today I took part in a webinar to get certified. The certification would potentially help me with a future job and increase my marketable skills and be more employable than I am right now. You can learn a new language, which I have been learning Spanish for the last 2 years. That actually started the first day that I was unemployed the first time. I knew I was going to have a lot of time on my hands trying to figure out how to structure my days, and wasn't sure how long it was going to take. I just decided, let's jump into this. Let's do Spanish. So if you speak Spanish, you have a Spanish question, shoot it my way. Let's see. You also have to learn how to relearn how to adjust to the new relationship statuses or the lack of them. The people who work for you no longer work for you, and you no longer work for the people you work for, so they don't report to you any longer. So they don't have to listen to you. They don't have to obey your commands, and sometimes you wonder if they listened to you in the first place. On the other hand, they're not your boss anymore. And that has its positive sides, especially if you're in a situation that is other than the paycheck, it's not really desirable. There's some relief in that. When you pass by them in a public setting, they're no longer obligated to change their course to come say hey to you, and vice versa. You don't have to go do the same for them. So sometimes it can work out, sometimes it hurts. At the beginning, it's kind of a gray area, ambiguous as well. You kind of don't know how to interact with certain people that used to be a large part of your life, and then now they're not. One of the first questions that you get fielded that kind of brings everything to a focus is, what do you do? You want to find out what the other person does. You ask them, hey, what's your job? And this question has, there's purpose and meaning that you can derive from your job. And that's a topic I would like to dig into later on, as far as, how much should your job give you purpose and meaning? Can it be too much? Can it be too little? That would be a good episode to have. And if you have any topics that you saw in that first video and you're like, I really would like to hear him talk about this aspect of unemployment, or if you have something you felt like I overlooked, maybe I missed, I can add it to the outline of what I have here. I think we'll go ahead and close today because I have some other things that I've been putting off that I have to take care of, and I like to stay on not too strict of a schedule, but scheduling kind of helps me get things done. So, in closing, if you have any feedback as far as how you derive meaning and purpose from your job, how much is too much, how little is too little, how do you communicate that meaning and purpose to others when they ask you and you are unemployed? What do you do? I invite you to think about these things and figure out, what would your response be? Share that with us. So, when this video gets posted, feel free to speak your minds in the comments section down below. Send me a text message if you really know me, or an email. Give me a thumbs up. And if you like what you've seen and heard, you can share this video. Please subscribe and ring the bell so that you'll be notified of new videos when they get posted. Also, is there a certain day I could post the video that works best for you? Give me input now at the very beginning of the series so that when I start posting these, you can help mold the video to something that would be more beneficial to you. Take care, everybody, and I hope to see you next time.